Hey everybody, it's Queen Jelly here, and welcome to or welcome back to the Toy Box. This is a doll and toy themed YouTube channel. I like to post at least once a week. It is aimed at adult collectors like myself. However, I do my best to keep the channel family friendly, but do keep that in mind. With that being said, today's video is going to be one that was actually voted on by my subscribers, or anyone could see the post, but that's most likely who were the ones who voted. Unfortunately, that post was up a couple of weeks ago, and I meant to do this video shortly after that, but I was definitely under the weather and was not able to film it. So I'm finally getting to it now, but the vote was for yes, so we will be doing a video on my very small Labubu collection and Labubu-like collection. I do already know all of the designs that I'm getting today. Nothing is a mystery, just so y'all know, but I will still show you all the boxes and everything because I still have those as of right now. I've been holding on to them until I can record this video. And I do have one more to open today. That would be Mokoko here. This is a Popland variant, so this is supposed to be exclusive to Popland. They do all have QR codes on them that all do lead to Pop Mart. This one was previously verified, but was verified on the date that these released, so I do still believe that this one is real, based on the fact that there are very few of these that seem to be faked, and all of the like typical things that would denote these as being fakes, this one does not have. I could still be wrong, but I tried very hard to make sure that all the ones that I'm showing you today are real. And then I do also have some things that are not official Labubu, but are in the same vein. But they're not the same as like a Lafufu that's like faking. They know they're not Labubus, if that makes sense. But I think that's all that I have to say for now. I did get all of these, like I said, secondhand. The 3 like full-size keychains like these I got, well actually everything except for the laBabies I got at a convention, so everything is technically secondhand. I did blind box the 2 that I have, but because I purchased them for myself and not with the intention of sharing them for videos, I opened them right away because I wanted to see what I got. But then I thought, well, maybe you guys would be interested in seeing them anyway, so I posted that poll, and again, like I said, the vote was for yes, so I'm going and doing the video for you. So I hope you enjoy it. Don't be afraid to use any of the timestamps down below if you're interested in particular parts of the video, and it's time to get to unboxing. All right, so in front of you we have the boxes from the 3 that I have. So as you can see, I have a Labubu, a Mokoko, and a Mickey and Friends. So I only really have one actual like Labubu, but they're all in the same vein. I also have these and these. So I just want to, you know, like I said, just do a quick show of everything that I have, just in case you guys are interested. So we'll start with the Mickey and Family, because that's probably one of the not as popular ones. I actually put the figurine back in here so that way you can't see it. But like I said, I already do know which one it is. I've actually been carrying it around with me for a little bit now. I really like these because the designs really remind me of in the 90s when we had the soft body plushes, but then they had plastic heads, or there were these like fuzzy hats with like plastic faces on them, and I just really liked those, and they're really nostalgic to me, so this really invokes that. So I really wanted one of these. I was pretty happy with whichever one I got. The only thing that I didn't want was either Chip or Dale. The only reason I didn't want Chip or Dale is because then I would want the other one to go with them. But any of the other ones I was pretty happy with by themselves. And then I wasn't too interested in the Secret because it's Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And it kind of breaks this convention of how all the other ones were. And like I said, I bought these secondhand at a convention, so I did pay above retail, unfortunately. But for me, that was really the only way for me to be able to access them. And like I said, these are definitely genuine. I've checked the QR codes myself, both inside, or both on the box and inside on the figures, as well as done all the other things that I can to verify them. Again, I don't know how often Mickey and Friends are faked. I haven't really heard anything about it. It's really mostly been the Labubus, and they're pretty easy to tell, at least in my opinion, because I did a lot of research on them to find out, to make sure that I was doing my best not to get scammed. But anyway, the Huey, Dewey, and Louie is 3 little beans. They kind of look more like Zoom Zoom stacked on top of each other. They still have the plastic faces, but they're not like these big, like, full body plushes like these ones are. And again, pretty happy with any of the designs. My preference probably would have been for like Minnie or Pluto. And like I said, just not Chip or Dale. And oh, where I was going with that is I said if I did pull one of the secrets though, I probably would have immediately purchased a second one to see if I could get a regular design. All right. I'm gonna open that up and you could probably already see which one I got. Because like I said, it's already known. I already opened them earlier, but I did get the Goofy design. The top of the box is also in there. It says Pop Mart. And then there's the silica beads. There's the tear strip. Again, so you can all see that all that was on there, and I did open it myself. And then there is their card. This is Mickey Mouse to from Goofy. It says Mickey and Family. Cute Together keychain. And then here is our little Goof. So his feet love to spin around and it's really funny. I do apologize, there's a little bit of dirt here. I do actually carry this around with me. He's not on my everyday bag, but he does come with me like when I go to the parks and stuff. So he does get a little scuffy. However, he does have a little flaw right over here on this cheek. That was there when I pulled him out of the box. But other than that, he's super cute. The fuzz is so soft, like on his ears and his head, and of course his little hat. And then he has on an orange sweater. The vest is completely part of the material here on the back, but then there's these flaps on the front, which are really cute. And then the pants are super soft, and like each of these are like different materials and everything. But then of course the hands, feet, and face are plastic because it's very similar in design to like a Labubu. Like I said, that's why I kind of consider him one, but he's not officially one. And then the key ring says Mickey Mouse, and then on this side it says Pop Mart. And you may have seen him hanging in the background of some of my other videos. Sometimes I'll hang them up here, but usually they're on my bags going with me, like I said, to like the parks. Now, the other one that we have is the Big Into Energy Labubu. I actually wasn't too interested in Labubu until they released this Big Into Energy series. I just really am a fan of this tie-dye design. There are other like more neutral designs. I understand the appeal to them, but they just really didn't say too much to me. And again, I wasn't really into it because of the hype. Like, I just genuinely really like these designs, and this was the first set that I also was pretty happy with literally any of them that I would pull, so it really didn't matter what I got, and so it would make it so that it was pretty easy to only get one. Again, I did buy this secondhand, so it was above retail, but I completely opened it myself, so the QR code is real, and then the QR code that was inside also led to the same place. And then here inside I do have the figure over here to show you in a moment, but this is the bag that they come in. Just like with the Goofy, I saved even the tear strip, so you can see all of it is real. And then there is the bag with all of them on it. It's all nice and brightly colored. And then here is the card for the one we got. So we got Loyalty, the pink and yellow one, which again, I was super happy with any of them that came in the set, but I am a pink girly. So when I got this one, not even slightly kidding, I started crying. Like, I legitimately started crying. I was so happy to finally have a Labubu, and I'm very grateful to my partner for helping me pay for it. So, especially because I was already buying so many. But yeah, that's the box from that one. So as I said, I got Loyalty, and now you can kind of see why I did not put her back in the box, because she is currently in a protective case, because she actually does come with me daily. She hangs on my work bag. However, I did purchase this case. I also purchased it at the convention, but I purchased it for $15, which is about what they cost on Amazon. As you can see, her key ring goes through here, and it is really nice and secure. I actually almost lost her once, but didn't, because the noise from this case, when she fell off of my bag, she landed on the ground and so, but not a scratch on it, which is amazing. So I'm a huge fan of this case, but I'm going to go ahead and take her out of it to show you her up close. But I do want to show you this little closure up here at the top. Looks like a little cat. Now, I thought you're supposed to use this key ring still, But the other day when I was unboxing mystery boxes, I got this that has the same kind of design as this. So I'm wondering if you're actually supposed to use this as the key ring instead of this, or maybe in addition to this. I just use it to lock the case closed, but that could be why it's so long. But it does have like a double lock, so you can see it goes through the head and then comes out through the tail. So it's on there super secure. Like you can't like sneak her out. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get her out of there and then I'll show you her up close. So here is the case all by itself, empty as well. I really like it because it has flat bottoms. So as you can see, it allows her to stand. One thing I really want to do is I want to keep this one clear like it is, but I want to get a second one and paint it to look like a spacesuit since the head is so like bubble like that. I think it would be so cute to make it look like it was like a little astronaut. As you can see, she is wearing a little t-shirt. Originally I was gonna buy her an outfit, but then I realized that Nuimo's outfits, I don't know if you know what those are, but they are a Disney plush that they used to make that were like these smaller posable figures that were still plushies. They were actually kind of similar to the Goof, except they were all fabric. And actually my very first toy review ever was on my other channel, Queen Jelly Gaming, and it was actually a Nuimo's review. I was doing monthly reviews every time the new set would come out, but I was working on a gaming setup to try and film like toy content, and it was just not the best quality, but I was still really happy with it, and that's kind of what led me to eventually starting this channel over here. Like that wasn't the entire inspiration, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, I know I can do it, so I went ahead and did it over here. So fun facts about me. But anyway, I have almost every single Nuimo outfit and almost every single Nuimo doll that ever came out here in the States. So I have a very large wardrobe for her, but I figured that this was the best. It kind of matched her vibe. It had the yellow streak and everything, and it was something small and thin that didn't disrupt how she fit into the case. But I will take off the t-shirt now so you can see her. One of the things I love about the Big Into Energy series is that they're all unique, again, because of the tie-dyeing, which is something that I always love, is when I can have something that's the same as everybody else's, but at the same time mine is unique and special, even if it is just another, like, it's not like a special edition or anything like that, but it's still unique and different because of like the marbling or whatever. So I really love her. She has one pink ear, one yellow ear, a yellow nose, a yellow tooth, and then the pink to yellow gradient in the eye, and then little yellow nails. And then there's her tiny hands. You can barely see them through the fluffing. That's the other thing is, this is my favorite flocking that they've also done for the Labubus. Most of the other ones have been more the short pile, like this one back here. But I just love everything about the Big Into Energy. Oh, and then there's her tag. It says the monsters, and it says Pop Mart here on the back, and you can see the bottom of her feet, so you can see the little Pop Mart logo down there. And she does have the wire in her arms. Literally, like I said, there's everything that I can tell as for her being real and authentic is, as far as I can tell, correct. So, and then yellow key ring. I don't really have, unfortunately, much else to say other than I absolutely love her. Her name is Lala. It was just kind of, I got tired of saying Labubu all the time, but I didn't feel like Loyalty was like a proper name. Not that Lala is a proper name either, but I don't know, I just didn't like calling her Loyalty, and I was kind of tired of saying Labubu all the time, so I kind of just shortened it to Lala, because that's where is kind of the repetitive sound of the Labubu, but with the L sound coming from Loyalty. But as you can see, you just kind of slide the ribbon through the slot. And then you can just use the key ring here. And that locks her into it, so she can't just slide out. And then, like I said, this closes. And it does actually do a pretty good job of locking on its own. But as like an extra super secure method, it does also have this piece here that just, like I said, goes through here. I love that it looks like a little kitty, because then it makes the like kind of tail make sense, because you put it through like the face area and then feed it back down through the body. So now it becomes a tail. And like I said, I'm considering possibly using this as the key ring, because this might actually be more, and like doubling it so that it's even more secure on my bag. Especially because, like I said, I'm actually heading out to another convention, as well as like she's my everyday Labubu, so this probably will end up being how I put her on the bag to kind of double secure her from now on. I'm very thankful for that other keychain that I found. And now for what I know are definitely knockoff Labubus, but these don't claim to be Labubus. They are called laBabies, so they are just inspired by them. These are actually from Five Below. There's 4 different designs. They come like just like this. There's no like mystery or anything to them. I picked out these 2 because they're 2 of my favorite colors. Again, we know I love pink as well, but I wasn't super fond of the expression the pink one was making. So I really liked the little bit more neutral expressions of Zuzu and Gigi. Like obviously Zuzu's a little bit more like mischievous looking, where Gigi's the most like neutral, but I still felt like between the 4, these are the 2 neutral ones. The tag is a little bit beat up because I actually hang these off of my rollerator, which is a type of mobility aid that I use. And these kind of hang around on there. So they do come with me quite a few places. But they're still super, super soft and have these adorable faces. They are completely fabric though, with embroidery on them. I don't know how much availability they still have, because they were very popular for a minute there. Sorry, she got us something a little bit sticky on her, but like I said, I do hang these off of my mobility aid, so they do come with me places. So that's probably just where she picked it up. I'll just wipe it off, but you can see her adorable little face and her fuzzy blue all the way around, and then she has a little fuzzy tail. And again, it says laBabies because again, these are definitely a separate product. They're just inspired by them, and that's what I don't mind, products that are inspired by rather than ones that try to claim, like market themselves as if they are exactly the same. I'm just gonna read you their tags really quick because I think it's cute. So this one's Gigi. It says, meet Gigi, the tiny friend with a huge heart. Gigi is curious, playful, and always ready for an adventure. And then we have Zuzu. Meet Zuzu, the tiny prankster with a big personality. Loves to play tricks and getting into mischief. The charming grin gets Zuzu out of trouble. It's very true, because they are so adorable. It's hard to be upset with them. I actually got these first. Again, I got these from Five Below, and I got these before I had any prospect of being able to get a Labubu at all. The very first one that I ever saw was at the convention where I purchased these in person. That was the first time I'd ever actually seen a Labubu for sale in person. I'd seen them on like people's bags and stuff, but anyway, these 2 I also purchased literally as is. I purchased them. They weren't like blind boxes or like secrets or anything like that. It was, there was a bunch of these on the table, and they were being sold by like kind of like an artist. Obviously they like, it didn't make the Labubus themselves, but they did, as far as I know, make the like them into the keychains like this. And again, it's like pre-made assets and stuff, because like they were selling like earrings and stuff that were made out of pre-made stuff. So it wasn't like all handmade stuff, but it was stuff that wasn't like pre-made. Like they did put in the effort, so they were still makers, even if they weren't necessarily the creators of the original products that they were using, if that makes sense. I picked up these 2 because as you can see, there's my Melody and Kuromi in there. Each of the bags had different charms, but I thought that that was kind of a cute like comparison to have these 2 as a pair, because you often see my Melody and Kuromi together. And so that's why I got this little pink one and this little purple one. These ones also hang off of my rollerator. They're very small and kind of just a little extra thing that I got. Again, when I got these were actually purchased before I was sure if I was going to be able to get the bigger ones. So this was going to be kind of my like consolation prize, but I love these as well. They're just obviously like not my most favoriteest thing, but they're still super cute. And like I said, they hang off of my mobility aid. All right. And now for last but not least is going to be our Popland Mokoko. So it's Twinkle Twinkle Fairy Tale. So this was released for the Christmas season. It was released, I believe, December 16th of last year. This is their box. I'm not going to go too into detail on it because obviously most of it is in Chinese. I cannot read Chinese, so we'll go ahead and get her out of here. Now, Mokoko does have a scent to her, which I found out by watching videos when I was trying to research fakes. So I did pop the top open just to kind of let some of the perfume out, because I don't necessarily do super well with things that are very heavily perfumed. So thankfully she is not too strong, but she definitely did have a scent when I got her, and she still has some of one now, but it's not super strong. She's just on there with a couple of wire ties. So she is this super cute pink fluffy little monster with this little white belly, which is so cute. The belly is the longer hair pile, kind of like the Big Into Energy, but then the rest of her body is the shorter. I kind of like, to me it kind of looks more like sheep like fuzz. She has a red headband on with this little ribbon bow on the top, a little pearl in the center. She has these, both of the inside of her ears are pink, but they do kind of point in towards each other, which again is one of those things that, from my understanding, means that they are legitimate, because like fake ones tend to have them more pointing up or like pointing like out, and they're very differently sized, where these are very equal. She has a properly spelled tag that says The Monsters, and on the back side it says Pop Mart, and it is in this burgundy color with this large burgundy ring to match the rest of her outfit. And then she has the wire in her arm, so her arms are posable. And then she has a QR code on her tag, and like I said, that is the one that I've scanned and does register as being previously done, but again on the date that she was released, so it is definitely a QR code from a Mokoko from this series. The only thing on her that's a little weird is that she has 2 feet that both have this symbol on it. To me though, based on everything else, I think it's just a factory error rather than her being a fake, because otherwise, like, her face is straight on. It's not, it doesn't look like it in the camera, but it does in person. It's not like, you know, because sometimes the fakes, their heads are like this. So her head is on right. It rotates properly. If you look at her face, the screening is also really good. So she has this really cute bow here with the stars around it. She has 9 teeth. She has a heart nose, and then her eyes are not pixelated or anything. They're really pretty. They're just this kind of generic brown. And then she has really nice seams all the way around. So again, the only thing to me that is off is that she has 2 of the same foot. But again, to me, I think that may just be a factory error, because we know that that's been happening, especially with how quickly they try to produce these. But this is a Popland exclusive, so it's not as, and it's also not a blind box, so they're not as like popular on the internet, so they're not as common to be faked from my understanding. Because again, I did a lot of research. Her blushing is also like, it is bright, but it's fairly well like faded out. It's not just like a splot on her face. And then the clothes are also really well made. We have these embroidered like holly leaves here on the front, and then this is a sweater material here with the beads on it, the bows on the front, and then this tulle skirt. So again, I have every impression that she is genuine, but if she is a fake, she is a very high quality fake. If you know more about it, please let me know in the comments down below, because like I said, I tried to do so much research on it, but there was so little about specifically this Mokoko. Most of them were for the original version of her, so that's why I'm hoping that means that there's less fakes out there. That's why there's less videos about, you know, how to spot the difference. But there she is in her super cute little Christmassy outfit. She is next to Loyalty and then Goofy. So we hope that you enjoyed this short little tour of my very small Labubu collection so far. I don't know if I'll be getting any more of them. I'm pretty happy with the ones that I have right now. Again, I got them because I think they're really super cute and not just because like everybody's into them. I know there's been a lot of complaint lately about like overconsumption with Labubu and stuff like that, and I do agree that there has been a lot of that. And I know a lot of people are complaining because they're like, oh, well, they're just going to end up at the, you know, the thrift stores in a couple weeks and blah, 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 blah. Part of me actually almost originally didn't buy these because I said, well, Labubu is just a trend right now. And if I want one, I can just wait a couple weeks and they'll end up in the thrift stores. So for me personally, like, because I am a thrifter, as long as they're ending up in the thrift stores and getting like either like gifted to people or like I said donated or something so that they're at least getting a second life, that's fine with me. As long as they're not getting thrown out, that's when I would start to have an issue as far as like overconsumption. I also really like that some creators have found ways to personalize their Labubus in order to give them a second life. So I feel like, yes, there are some bad eggs, as there are in every fandom and every space, that are over consuming and just buying to buy and buying for the clout. But I do think as a whole, most Labubu like collectors are in it for the passion. And as usual, we're just kind of getting a bad rep from the vocal minority, but I could be wrong. So those are just my little thoughts on it. So I hope you enjoyed this little random video. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on Labubu as a whole, or specifically on any of mine in my collection. Do you have any Labubus or are interested in getting any? And don't forget to do all the fun YouTube things like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and it really helps you out because if you like my content, it'll make it so that you can find us again. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you really soon in the next one. Bye!